I'm assuming Mikan did? Yeah. Of course. I've said that multiple times now.
Then Hiyoko was actually killed before Ibuki?
Wolfie, Wolfie, Wolfie. Are you sure Nagato or Gymnast didn't do it? %.
A valid line of reasoning.
80% sure. Those two were the other two who could have possibly done it, but I'm really thinking it was Mikan.
Yeah,
which fucking kills me. I really hope I'm wrong.
The condition of Ibuki's body suggests that as well.
What do you mean?
There's just a few little other things in the evidence that makes me think that Mikan did it.
If you're going to cry and beg like that, then I guess I'll hear about the condition of Ibuki's body.
You mean Hajime could have? I think we would know if Hajime did it.
I'm not even crying.
I'll let you sob as much as you want later. Just hurry up and tell me before I change my mind.
What a jerk!
Oh, I see. You want me to explain it to you, right? Because you don't understand what I'm saying, right?
An even bigger jerk? Impossible!
Look, Ibuki died because she hanged herself, right? That means when she was still alive, her feet were touching the floor.
What's wrong with that?
But it seems Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was killed. That would mean Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
That is true.
How light. Your words are so light as light
Are you
as the
sure?
sixth
Well, unless the game is just blacking out part of Hajime's memory from us. I'm pretty sure.
Your opponent is out of your league. It is too absurd to try to perplex me so inadequately.
Man, he's being annoying again.
First and foremost, you claim Ibuki's feet were touching the floor when Hiyoko was killed. How can a low-class creature with no psychic abilities like you know something like that?
Because she was doing something that's only possible if her feet were on the floor.
It seems you suffer from a pathetic delusion.
She stepped in blood!
You're one to talk.
Anyway, if this continues, we're just gonna talk in circles. I think it's best if we clarify Ibuki's status when Hiyoko was killed. If it's not sandals, I swear to God. Blonde souls, that's it. Could be the step ladder too, but it's probably blonde souls.
When Hiyoko died, Ibuki's feet were on the floor.
That's right.
I am telling you to present your evidence.
Did you see her walking?
If her feet were on the floor, was there any sign she stepped on something?
I agree with that.
That's it right there.
Just as Sonia said, Ibuki stepped on something.
Are you sure? I mean, it's possible it's Danganronpa. I mean, Monokuma powers. See, but here's the thing. It's also Danganronpa, and we played the entire first game where our character never killed anyone. So... just going off the previous game's logic, I'm pretty sure the main character isn't going to kill anyone.
That something was blood. There were faint blood stains.
Sonya
on the
confirmed
soles of
useful?
her feet.
Sonya's been useful, I think.
That is not Ibuki's blood, right? She suffered no external injuries. Then it's Hiyoko's blood.
Hyoko's only wound was a fatal slice on her neck. And she died almost instantly, right?
If Ibuki stepped on her blood,
It means Ibuki was still standing when Hiyoko was mortally wounded. Which means Ibuki was still alive at the exact moment Hiyoko was killed.
Don't underestimate the power of the evil eye! Is that it? A shepherd dressed in his Sunday's finest still reeks of lamb, Hajime Hinata.
Does that mean you have a rebuttal?
Does that mean you have a rebuttal? That's a good line. But Are you sure you're sure? If I show you how serious I am, this world might be destroyed, you know. You're so frightened you can't even make a sound. It seems you've realized our differences. However, the time for conviction starts now. You better entertain me to the fullest.
I can barely understand fucking Gundam half the time. How am I supposed to do this? Smudge on the floor.
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to Hiyoko? Ha! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor. You can't step on blood that was never there. Just about what did you see, a nice nightmare?
As long as Ibuki's body has no open wounds, there's no doubt that that blood is Hyoko's.
Hiyoko was taped to the pillar, yes, but it's possible that the pillar still had blood on it. However, you cannot step on the pillar with your feet. You should feel proud of yourself. It's been nearly 3 years since I've had to use 60% of my power. Hiyoko was taped to the pillar, yes. But it's possible that the pillar still had blood on it. However, you cannot step on the pillar with your feet. You should feel proud of yourself. It's been nearly 3 years since I've had to use 60% of my power.
Damn it!
You're saying the blood on Ibuki's feet belonged to... Ah! Impossible! Try to remember the crime scene. There was no blood on the floor.
Allow me to cut through those words.
Clairvoyant and Swimmer weren't useful? They had to be useful a little bit.
That's not it.
I don't really remember the first game that well.
Because the killer wiped it away afterward.
Don't say such foolish things! You don't have proof of that at all!
Yes, I do. If you look closely, there's a streak on the floor where blood was wiped away.
When the killer tried to hide Hyoko's body, they probably cleaned the blood at the same time, but Ibuki must have already stepped in it, and the killer probably didn't even realize it.
The reason they wiped off the blood on the floor was so we'd mix up the order of the murders, right? Even if they're able to hide Hyoko's body, it'd be bad if her blood was left out in the open.
Plus, Ibuki's body was left out in the open, and it wasn't bleeding from any open wounds at all.
Hyoko's body was probably wrapped in duct tape to stop her bleeding. Actually, the bleeding will stop once the heart stops beating, so I don't think they had to go that far.
Aside from Mikan, none of us were aware of that fact, so the killer probably did not know it either.
Maybe the heater was running inside the music venue so it would screw with Mikan's autopsy?
This fact right here is the reason that I suspect Mikan. Have you watched it yet? No, I haven't. I won't lie, I've been super busy. Super busy or fucking passed out. Those are the two things I've been.
That's right! I didn't know the time of death because of the heater!
The time of death wasn't mentioned in the Monokuma file, just to keep concrete evidence from us.
Yup. Since we have all this evidence, there's no one else who wants to object, right? Then it's decided. Hiyoko was killed before Ibuki.
It appears that it is wiser to retreat for now. Fine then. But regardless of good or evil, there's no deceit in upholding one's convictions.
Can't you just shut up and back off?
Now then, let us resume our debate.
Wait a sec. There's something I want to run by Monokuma first.
Huh? Again? Didn't something like this happen last time too?
Hey, if the victim actually committed suicide, what are we supposed to do?
Huh? Suicide.
The same as always. You have to vote for who the killer is. Think about it. A suicide means you've killed the most important existence of all, yourself. Unfortunately, that means there's no Blacken to punish, but I guess in a pinch, I can always punish Monami.
Why me?
Nagito? What do you mean?
if the victim actually committed suicide.
Well, I mean, I understand Hyoko's death, but I'm wondering if Ibuki was really murdered. For example, it's possible Ibuki killed Hyoko, and then committed suicide due to a guilty conscience, right?
No, it's not. Because someone had to take down the wallpaper and lock the door.
That's totally impossible. Then she never would have killed her to begin with.
She was afflicted by the despair disease, remember? That means anything can happen.
That means she was extra gullible.
But if Ibuki's the killer, she wouldn't have been able to falsify the sequence of the murders, right?
Just...
After Hajime
I'm like,
saw the hanged
I feel like
body,
I'm 5 steps ahead of
the
these
sudden
people.
appearance of Hyoko's body soon after means the killer had to be alive at that time.
Then she was alive. When Hajime first discovered Ibuki, she was just pretending to be dead.
No.
If she waited until Hajime left, that's when she could have made her move and mess with the crime scene.
She hanged herself. Remember? There's no fucking way she could have faked that.
And if she was going to fake her death, I think she wouldn't have chosen hanging. Her body would have been defenseless in that state. If anyone touched her, that alone would have ruined her plan.
I see. So that means there's no doubt that someone killed those two. I'm glad. Now I'm free to search for the killer.
What the heck?
Ah, there's still one more issue on my mind. If Ibuki didn't commit suicide, just what was that video Hajime saw? According to that video you saw, Ibuki was by herself when she climbed the stepladder, right? Then does that mean someone forced her to do it?
Forced? Perhaps they used hypnotism or something?
Oh, that's fair. Hey, I know that is fair.
I don't know anything about that.
Don't say it all proud.
Putting that aside, it seems obvious that the killer did something.
Can we also mention that this is probably the most Mikon has talked in the class trial ever?
So, maybe we should figure out who was able to do whatever that was.
So, an alibi. Then our plan is to destroy the weakest alibi. Since Hajime has seen the video, it is clear what time the crime took place.
But just to be sure, that surveillance camera doesn't have a record function, right?
It's a cheap-ass surveillance camera, you know? There's no way it'd have some kind of sweet recording feature.
Then, the video Hajime saw was actually live?
What time did Hajime see that video?
I saw it at the hospital, right before Monokuma's morning announcement. And I saw the body at the music venue a little after Monokuma's announcement.
So Ibuki hanged herself right before Monokuma's announcement. And since we established that Hyoko was killed before Ibuki, that means the time that the murders occurred was before and during the announcement.
Then, we just have to find the person who doesn't have an alibi during that time?
Now then, I shall issue my decree. Let Operation Destroy the Weakest Alibi commence.
We can exclude this.
I need to see what these accounts are. Until Monokuma announcement that morning, Mikano was with Hajime the whole time. Afterwards, she went to the hospital to check on everyone and realized Ibuki had disappeared. When she rushed out of the hospital to search for Ibuki, she apparently met up with Fuyuhiko. After Fuyuhiko met Mikon in front of the hospital, they split up and searched for Ibuki. They checked the movie theater and Electric Avenue, but they didn't find anyone. Apparently, Fuyuhiko and Mikon were only separated for a short time.